Welcome to clickmyproject.com. Let's discuss on the title Scene-Oriented Hierarchical Classification of Blurry and Noisy Images. Building the next generation of multimedia systems for content retrieval, navigation and browsing hinges on solving critical tasks such as image classification, event detection and video summarization is a serious problem nowadays. So the objective of the research leading to this paper is to overcome to some extent the limitations of conventional techniques when faced with noisy and blurry content. The proposed approach has been inspired by the remarkable ability of the human visual system to classify visual information under extreme conditions. As a consequence, some of the strategies described in this paper attempt to stimulate basic processing modalities involved in human visual perception system. The main contribution of this paper is a novel hierarchical classification framework which specifically addresses blurring and noisy images by stimulating features of the human visual perception system. The proposed strategy has been inspired by the fact the human visual perception system tends to tackle ambiguous information in a principled way with little specific effort in degradation. In this context, our model is based on three strategies: extraction of essential signatures captured from a global context, stimulating the global pathway, highlight detection based on local conspicuous features of the reconstructed image, stimulating the local pathway, and hierarchical classification of extracted features using probabilistic techniques. The techniques involved in hierarchical classification use input from both local and global pathway. Let's have a discussion on the data flow diagram. Regarding the data flow diagram, you have to consider a data set which is both blurry and noisy. Those images must be subjected to two different kinds of feature extraction. One is global pathway feature extraction and another is local pathway feature extraction. The features which are extracted from these two methods are concatenated to form a feature vector. This feature vector is in turn subjected to clustering algorithm called as feature clustering algorithm. The clustered algorithm will provide you with the ID for each of the features. Depending upon those IDs, you have to train another classifier called as SOTA classifier. This classifier will have a working procedure similar to neural network, and this ID is given as the true label to be learned by the classifier. Depending upon the clustered label, the classifier predicts the images and classifies the images in a hierarchical order such that each scene is being classified according to its previous input. So the clustered results provide a unique label which helps the classifier to learn the images symbolically. Now let's see the execution of the program. In order to execute the program, select scene-orient main.m file and press run file. So this is the guide that is designed to view the result. Two datasets are being used. You can select any one of the dataset. This represents images having 5 categories of various scenes. Now we are going to hierarchically classify this depending upon the scene orientation. Then you have to go for extracting the features. Simultaneously you have to extract both local pathway and global pathway features. So this may be executed and it will take some time to compute both the local pathway and global pathway features for all the dataset images. And here this represents the mapping functions and this represents some Gabber kernel. So this processes will take some time to calculate, and this particular feature values what it is being extracted from these images will be saved as a feature vector. After that you have to proceed on for clustering followed by classification. So your ambiguous input what we give will be hierarchically classified depending upon these extracted features values only. The global pathway will be giving you the essential capturing information. That is, it will capture both the layout representation and also the essential capturing information. In local pathway, it is used for highlighting the detection areas. So it will be concentrating on pseudo-random restoration, which is followed by the highlighted area of detection. These informations will be valuable in the case of representing a single image feature. So the pseudo restoration is done in order to overcome the blurry and noisy variation that are disturbing the images. So the project is handled to solve both the blurry and noisy input. So depending upon the input features whatever we provide, the classification may be made for an untrained dataset also. As the dataset is being trained for various categories, you can also introduce a new dataset. Now the code is being executed. Now we can go for clustering and classification. This clustering will provide you with the labels, and the classification will categorize depending upon the clustered label. These are the figures showing the categories. The figure 1 symbolizes a bar graph where each of the categories is being classified. So the 5 natural sceneries, that is highway, building, mountain, outside city, inside city, are the 5 categories, and this is the number of images representing in each category. Each category holds 10 images. So out of 50 images, these are the correct classified images, and the second category holding 3 values, that is it has been classified that all the building category has been classified under one particular category, but the mountain category and the outside city category, one of the images has been represented here. Likewise here also the misclassifications can be seen. Depending upon this classification result, this is the highway category that has been hierarchically classified, and these are the building category, this is the mountain, the green land, outside city, then inside city. So this is the confusion matrix representing how many images are being correctly classified and how many are being misclassified in another category. So depending upon the diagonal numbers and the nearby numbers, you can know the number of images that are correctly classified and incorrectly classified. So the final accuracy of the implemented algorithm is 92%. So after analyzing the result, back into the paper, we have shown that how to combine the global and local pathway to solve the task of blurry and noisy image classification. The global scene representation delivers the contextual information in parallel with the processing of local features, providing a formal realization of an efficient feed-forward mechanism for the guidance of attention. It is important to note that our scene category, that is global pathway based approach of context modeling, is complementary and not opposed to an object centered local pathway based approach of context. The advantage of using a scene centered global pathway based approach is that the contextual influences occur independent of the level of complexity of image scene and is robust at many levels of the ease of target discrimination on blurry and noisy images. Thank you.